Okay, good day, viewers around the globe. Today, welcome to this segment of the Desitdown Sports, where we have a one-on-one interaction with your favorite athletes around the globe. Today, we have an exceptional athlete who goes by the name Justin Clark. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm good, thanks, and you?
Okay, I'm doing well. Okay, so Justin, I'm going to do a brief bio about you. Okay, so pointers, correct us at any point in time if we don't get any information correctly. So, Justin Clark is a South African heavyweight fighting out of Team CIT in Pretoria, the same gym that produces former UFC middleweight champion Dricus du Plessis, born and raised between KwaZulu, Natal, Swaziland, and Mozambique before finishing high school in Limpopo. Clark first stepped onto the mats at age 11 under the Kyokushin karate student. Being a Kyokushin karate student, he went on to earn a degree in information from the University of Pretoria, competing internationally as an amateur in K1 and kickboxing for South Africa between 2017 to 2022, and claiming an African title along the way. A chance sparring section with Dricus du Plessis redirected you towards MMA, and he turned professional in May 2024 with a 34-second knockout win in EFC 113. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct, yeah.
Okay, sir. Okay, so it's a pleasure having you today, sir. We've been trying to set up this appointment with you for a while, but today we're glad it happened. So, how you doing in general?
Good, no complaints. A little bit frustrated because I'm not fighting currently.
Okay.
Kind of getting itchy. How can I say idle hands. I want to get back into proper training and get ready to go fight.
Okay. So, to start off the interview, the viewers would like to know a backstory about you. Okay, from the bio, we've already known that your first, say, martial art discipline was in Kyokushin karate, which is totally different from like your current profession right now. And we also know that you're not only a man of the sports or a man of the fine art of martial arts, you're also a man of art itself, which we could attest to your degree in the university. So we'd like to know basically of a throwback about your family dynamics. How did you grow up? How did you get into martial arts? What was the first thing that directed you to martial arts? Because not everyone goes into martial arts. I'm sure you're from South Africa, so you have rugby and you have the size for rugby. You have rugby there. You have, I believe, cricket over there. So, like, why not those sports? Why martial arts? So, just give us a backstory about your family dynamics, all of that.
Well, we were actually living in Swaziland at the time, and I was a naughty child.
Yeah.
And I was watching, obviously, you watch Bloodsport in those days, and like, Arnold
Correct.
Schwarzenegger was a big action hero. Jean-Claude Van Damme was a big action hero. Steven Seagal, Dolph Lundgren, and obviously the Rocky movies were around that time.
Okay.
And so you kind of grow up watching all that. And then I remember one day these guys came to our school in primary school, all these Kyokushin karate guys, and they did their katas, and they like a bit of a showcase
Yeah,
to
yeah,
recruit
correct.
students.
Sure.
And I was like, said to my mom, I want to go do this. And my mom was like, cool, this will get this child disciplined. So yeah, they signed me up. And yeah, it taught me solid discipline.
Okay. Okay.
Because back then, people weren't so soft. If you stepped on a line, your coach kicked you, you know?
Correct. Correct. That's like the old school trainers. These days,
Yes.
it's a little bit much more different. So, what's your family dynamics like? What do you have siblings that are also in the sports as you are, basically?
I've got two brothers. We're
Okay.
three. I'm the youngest, so my eldest brother is a qualified astrophysicist, but he works
Oh,
in business in
oh,
Cape
okay.
Town, South Africa.
Okay.
And my middle brother is also studied information design through university, but he he went into tattooing. He's a tattoo artist.
Artist. Okay. Okay. That's
Yeah.
maybe attests to the lots of. Tell me he
Yeah.
contributed to the finance on you.
He did most of them. My
Okay.
chest, my
Sure.
back, my
Okay.
legs. Yeah.
Okay. He did a great job. We could see
Yeah.
the fine piece. So basically two siblings. You're the only one who went the route of like martial arts. Okay. You said you got your first. I'll say you got your first love for the sports of watching the blood sports, the combat,
Mm.
the old, I'll say the old school movies, the action movies, not the recent ones they're making right now, the old
Yeah.
school ones,
Yeah.
the old school ones. So basically, you got into it. So when was the first time you actually competed? Okay, where you said, okay, there was a preparation time frame for you, saying, okay, maybe your coach said, hey, Justin, at this given date, at this given time, you'll be fighting this person basically, be it amateurs or professional. When was the first time?
That was, I mean, obviously we had sparring for our belts in Kyokushin, but not actual competition. Well, I
Okay,
wasn't, my parents didn't allow us to do competitions because we were young. They were worried about the contact and stuff.
sure.
But later on, when I did kickboxing, my first, I competed in a tournament in 2015. I was
Okay,
actually supposed to compete in 2014, but I fell ill the week of the tournament, so
tournament,
I had to withdraw. Yeah, so then, yeah, that was amateur kickboxing.
amateur kickboxing. And how old were
Yeah.
you by back then?
2014, so that makes me, what are we now? It's 2026. That's
Yeah,
12 years ago.
2026.
Okay,
Yeah,
gosh.
okay.
Oh, sorry, 2015. So, sorry, it's 11 years ago. So that made me 26, 27.
Oh, 26, 27. Okay. So what was the
Mm.
feeling like for you the first time you ever had an actual competition? I'm sure right now, of course, all competitors still have that urge in you. They still have that kind of fear when because it's not usual for the human being to like confront other individuals basically. We have two response to, will I say, confrontation. You have flight or fear. Most people actually choose the flight route,
Mm.
but there's only a few individuals who like go with like the fight aspect. So and you do it for sports, okay, not as a survival will I say mechanism at this point in time. So what was the first feeling like for you? Okay, if you could maybe take us back down the memory lane, okay, where you say, hey, Justin, okay, you see the other guy maybe mean mugging you and the face off and all of that. And you know that at a point in time, basically, you guys will be trapped together and you have to, like, I'll say, resolve your issues within the constraints of the rules. When was how was the feeling like for you?
Oh, I was nervous as hell, scared as hell. I remember because it was a tournament.
Okay,
And how to work down South Africa is everyone just kind of arrives. You put your name down on the board in your weight division,
okay,
and then they go through and they tally everyone, and then the all the instructors sit down and they go, okay, cool, we're going to pair these two together, and they create a tournament style per weight division on however many people rocked up. And I remember going and I see the one guy writing down, he was the current SA champ, and he had to write down how many fights he had, and I was like, zero. And then I watched a guy come next to me, writes down 30 fights, and I was like,
30
what?
fights,
What? But he was the current SA champ at that stage.
correct.
And so I'm sitting there going, just sweating. And I still remember, usually when they start a tournament, they start from the lightweight and they work all the way up to the heavyweights. And let me just get this down a bit here. They work, yeah, they start lightweight and they work all the way up to heavyweights.
Correct.
And the head of the organization stood up in the ring, did his speech welcoming everybody, and he goes, "We're going to do things different today. We're going to start off with the heavyweights. Can
Okay.
the following people warm up?" It announces my opponent's name and then it says Justin Clarke, warm up. And I was like, because I'd never seen fighting in real life. So I was gonna, let me watch a few other people fight. Let me see what it's
Okay. Sure.
about.
Sure.
And then next thing, I was the first one in for the day. And I just
And
went in there and I did my best. I was scared as hell,
and
but I
that
did
was
my
your
best.
first competition, actual
First,
competition, and
first
you
competition.
you got to fight someone with 30 fights. You had zero fights.
Well, he wasn't the first guy. The first guy was someone else. I don't know how many fights he had. I beat him.
Oh,
And
okay,
then
okay.
they made me fight the guy 35
With Fed
second.
fights, okay.
Yeah, which I lost on points. So I was excited not to get knocked out, but
Okay, it was actually, I'll
yeah,
say it was a good performance basically because fighting someone with 30, I'll say
yeah,
professional fights or amateur fights, and you have not much experience than him. You just have to do your best basically at that
pretty
point in
much.
time. Sure. So we'll take you down the memory lane. Oh, sorry. We'll fast forward right now. So you talked about your feeling on your first, will I say, actual competition. How does that feeling differ from now? Basically, now you've had over basically in a nutshell, how many fights would you say you've had total?
Amateur I ended up on 35 or 36 fights, and
Okay.
professional I've done 6 fights.
Okay, so six
So
fights. You have a total of six fights. That's five win and
yeah,
one loss. So basically,
yes.
so how would you say that is translated right now? Do you see have those nerves, those butterfly feelings when you're about to step into the octagon? Because now it's a different, will I
Yeah,
say, venue. Basically, the last one was a kickboxing one. The first one was kickboxing. Now it's an octagon. So it's much more different. The dynamics, basically, the structure, everything is different.
it's look, everyone's nervous before. If they tell you otherwise, they're liars.
Correct.
Um, let's put it this way. The lead up has gotten better. So I remember before my first tournament, the feelings of and that scaredness and the fear was hitting me. Oh shit, sorry, mate.
Not a problem.
Yeah, that was hitting me already a week before the fight date.
Okay.
I don't get that anymore because I haven't given myself permission to worry. Through experience, I only start worrying on fight day. Like
Yeah.
that's the only time I'm allowed to give myself permission to start worrying about anything because until then, nothing else is going to happen. And then on fight day, it is normal. You go through the feelings. You have positive thoughts. You have negative thoughts. You doubt yourself. Then you believe in yourself. It's a to and fro battle.
Sure.
But the moment I arrive at the venue, my mind switches into game time, and then I don't feel a thing.
Okay.
So I immediately go look for my corner where I can start my warm up and start my It's like a ritual, and I'm
Okay.
so caught up in my ritual that I don't actually have time to sit and think about what I need to feel going in. So the last time I feel anything is actually before I arrive at the venue.
Oh, okay. Okay. And like you talked about ritual. So like what's a typical fighter ritual for you from when you get up? Okay, for maybe upcoming fighters who are watching you and trying to like get into also the mindset and have the same maybe I'll say nerves that people with less experience have. Well, what's a typical fight day ritual for Justin Clark?
So I treat it as a normal day.
Yeah?
Food wise, everything I treat it as a normal day because I don't do anything. I don't change anything. Fight day is not the day you try something new or
Okay.
step away from what you do. So I used to. So I try and keep my day as normal as possible. And I obviously you have a lot of free time and time slows down and you wander around. So I'll watch some movies. I'll get up and I'll go for a walk. And if I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed, you step outside with a little bit of nature. It always does you good. And anytime you feel like overwhelmed, just go for a walk. Just
Okay. You,
move.
you you
Yeah.
spoke about movies, watching movies to probably distract you. Do you have any go-to movie that maybe that's your that's your
Nah.
good luck charm? No
I
go-to
just
movie?
I just kind of open up Netflix or Amazon Prime Video, whatever, and I see what do I feel like watching? What
Watch
is
it.
my mood? And then I
Okay.
go and I watch it. Or if there's something that's like I've been trying to watch for a while and I haven't had time due to work or training, I'm like, cool, let me save this for then.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Okay. Okay. So you came into the Kane fight freshly off your first pro loss, right? To Abraham Bibley in the season one. What did that loss teach you about yourself, both mentally and technically?
Um, from a mental aspect, looking back and how I feel now that I'm rested and being involved in that tournament that was squeezed into less than 5 months,
Okay.
my body and my mind were completely fatigued. So I remember standing there on the day of that fight, against Abraham Babley and say to my coach, I just cannot wait for this tournament to be over. Obviously, I would have preferred it if it went the other way,
Correct,
but
correct.
I was just like, I'm so mentally and physically broken. But from that, what I learned was I made a few mistakes with my expectations of what Abraham Babley was going to do. And I kind of put him in a box and said, this is how he fights. This is his style. This is what he's going to come out and do.
Okay.
And that's what I expected. That's what I trained for. And he didn't come out and do that. So it kind of threw me off a little bit. And before I could even get my
Composure.
composure, he clipped me. And then it was overs.
Okay. If it's
And
apologies, if it's no
yeah, no.
secret, right? What was your expectation? Like, what was the game
Oh,
plan? It's already
well,
passed. Well, what was the game plan
if
for him?
if you've watched Abraham Babley, even his last fight now, light heavy, it's the same. He strikes, he takes down, he smothers, and he ground and pounds.
Ground and pounds, correct.
And we watched and knew that he. I've obviously rewatched footage. I think he comes out as southpaw to switch into orthodox in order to take down, or he comes out orthodox and switches to southpaw to take.
Oh,
One of the two. So and he came out in the complete opposite stance, and when I remember seeing the fight, going, "Hey, wait a second, this is
this
this is
wasn't
what
the
I
expectation.
yeah yeah yeah." Um, and so yeah, no, that was it, and that's his game plan, and that's what he used on every single person except me. But I suppose he didn't have to do much further because he clipped right.
Correct.
But it's yeah, it's when I spoke to him, we spoke afterwards, and he actually said that they heard in an interview that that's what I kind of expected, and they were like, we're not going down that path. We changed it up completely, which is also something else I learned is in an interview before a
Interview.
fight, keep your mouth shut.
The game plan.
Yeah.
Understood. Understood. Okay. So fast forward, and Kane opened up the fight with huge combinations. Okay, your last fight that had you bloodied and on shaky legs. Like the odds, basically, if you check the odds, even us when we picked, because we usually do picks, PFL picks,
Mm.
we picked Kane to win. Apologies for that.
I've been an underdog plenty times. Doesn't bother me.
Okay. So walk us through those first 30 seconds. Okay, what was going through your mind once you got clipped and maybe your legs were not under your control for a while, basically?
Um,
Because he stormed you with like barrages of like punches and because
yeah, the main issue was like I don't know if you've seen Kane in person before. He's tall and he's got one hell of a reach.
correct, yeah.
So we came up with all these plans to get past his reach. Sorry.
No problem.
But, you know, I implemented it. Sorry, my voice is,
No problem, no
it's
problem.
going.
Take your time.
Give me a second to get water. So my game plan of getting past his reach, I implemented it on shorter people or shorter than Kane. So I remember I was going through my list of all the things we had trained. And next thing I remember, I still remember sitting thinking like, yes, what am I going to do now? I've run through this list and he stopped every single one because obviously it's different when you do it to somebody who's got is a bit shorter and has a lot less reach.
Correct.
So you lie in your mind that you've been successful and it wasn't panning well for me then.
Okay. So and
So,
no problem. And all this like was going through your mind, was it when you were on actually engaged in him or when you were being hurt with like the punches? When were you going through, okay, I've gone through this, gone through that?
no. That was when I'd done something and stopped, and I remember we were standing in front of each other, and you know, you're testing, and I'm like
Yeah.
thinking, "This is what am I going to do now?" And I was like, "Okay, I need to bring my legs and get my legs involved, and start taking out his legs, just to get some distraction, so I can get in and smack him with my fists." And I was like, "Cool, I'm moving into kicking range," and as I moved into kicking range, he popped me with a jab. I was like, "Bro, that's my kicking range," and he popped me with a
Yeah,
jab.
jab. Yeah.
Like I was just like, woo. And then he pushed it on me, and then well, I retaliated. So it
Okay.
worked out well.
So you turned the fight around with one counter right hand, like that changed the entire fight. Would you say that shot was something you drilled specifically for him, talking about your arsenal and going through things you tried, or it was just pure instinct at that moment? You were just saying, "Hey, okay, I just have to try this out," or it's something you guys drilled specifically for him?
No, no, that was complete instinct. That's just, I mean, I've been, we do wall drills and stuff at our gym all the time. We put your back up against the wall and you go. And obviously it's a little bit more composed than that, but the slipping and the riding left and right, I've done that plenty times. I just the choice of punches just came. Just to go through.
Okay, pure instinct. Okay.
Yeah, that was just
Okay,
pure
but
instinct.
instinct still comes with like constant drilling because you can't like try out something which you've never tried out before and it works instantly. Okay,
Yeah.
it's just a slim chance of that. Okay, so you called the season one finals and losing in like 21 seconds, devastating. How different of a feeling was it for you walking out of Sunbet Arena in Pretoria with your hands raised at that time, basically?
I was ecstatic, but also just relieved.
Okay,
I felt like I just climbed a big mountain. Because, I mean, it's human nature. Sorry.
no
It's
problem.
human nature to see somebody as big as Kane and go, shit, okay, I got my work cut out for me.
Correct.
And so walking out there as the victor, I was like, this is cool. This is awesome. I'm safe. I'm in one piece. That's the main thing after a fight. It's not so much for me. It's I'm happy I'm won. I'm happy I overcame the odds. But it's like I'm healthy. My
Oh,
body's healthy and I'm
sure.
alive.
More
Yeah.
importantly. Okay. So, the win, your last win keeps you alive in season two of the heavyweight bracket. What do you know so far about the semi-finale picture, and who would you want to cross you at the cage, or what's your expectation, or who's your expectation in the cage next time, basically for the next stage? I think it's
Um,
in Morocco,
yes, it's in Morocco, but
Casablanca,
they're not running a heavyweight tournament
heavyweight
this year.
tournament. Then,
So it's
okay.
just free, just fights, just
Okay. Okay.
showcase fights.
Okay, so but from the roster so far in your division, who do you think is probably your next opponent at this point in time?
I actually have no idea. I'll be honest with you, because the people that stood out were last year's roster was Kane, was Abraham Babley, um, Maxwell Nana,
Sure.
and I think those are the only three that really had standout performances. And I
Okay.
faced all three of them, so I don't actually know at the moment.
Okay,
I just yeah.
that'll be left
Oh
for
well.
like the PFL organization to put together your next
Yeah,
opponent.
yeah, they will sort something out. I've just obviously had to heal up. My nose was broken after
Sure.
Kane, and it took longer than 6 weeks to heal. So it took 8 to 10 weeks. So I've only just started training again.
Yeah.
I mean that was 11 weeks ago, I think, that fight. I know it feels long ago, but it's only 11 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you train along Dricus du Plessis at CIT on the Moreno Visser. How much of this comeback win do you credit to that room, and what specifically do they have you work on after the Babley loss?
Um. Well, when it got to prepping for Kane, as I said, we just worked in on tactics and how to penetrate and get into his close to him as possible, because he's a tall person. I'm a tall person. I know what tall people hate is when short people get close to them. So I said, I'm the short guy this time. So my job is to get in as close as possible. So that's all we drilled over and over and over and over again. But as for the space, yeah, look, it's a highly competitive space. I mean, we've got Dricus du Plessis there. Within the African MMA, I say,
Circuit.
yeah, the circuit. I mean, we've got JC Lamprax, he's a light heavyweight EFC champ. We've got Mark Hulme, very good. Diego Bandau, he's currently the middleweight EFC champ. So we've got quite a few quite a few fighters who have excelled in different organizations there. So you arrive there and every single day you're held to a high standard, and you have to be. And you know the saying, iron sharpens iron.
Yeah,
We
correct,
all
correct,
go up together.
correct. So, you've spoken about being 38 and feeling like you're just getting started. How do you manage the physical demands of heavyweight MMA at this, I'll say, pinnacle stage of your career compared to when you were just competing in K1 amateurs?
Um, I must say, I'm doing quite well. I'm quite well conditioned. So I, the real tiredness doesn't come from not training pains or anything. It's just I also work a full-time job.
Okay.
So yeah. So
Oh,
that's where the fatigue comes in. You sit there like, I've got to go, I've got to
P
work, and then I've got to train.
PFL have to do better. PFL, if you're hearing this, you have to do better. Kane has to, Justin has to be fighting full time. Okay.
Yeah. Well, look, the economy needs to do better as well.
Okay, correct. Everyone has to do better. Let's just put it
Yeah.
that way. Okay. Okay. So, from a fine arts degree at the University of Pretoria to knockouts in PFL cage, how does that creative background show up in the way you approach like your fighting IQ and game plan? Like, does a degree or your knowledge in like the fine arts translate to the octagon, or have you seen it maybe translate to the
Um,
octagon and the way maybe you mix things different from someone who doesn't?
I suppose if you've, I suppose there's no, I don't think there's a direct correlation between the two. But if you look at a person who's just generally creative, if I'm creative in the arts and I can bring creativity to the fighting, is I will think differently, and that might not always, as a spectator, you might not always see it. But if you fight against fighter, maybe I move different to other people. Maybe I
No,
frame my
absolutely.
combinations differently.
Absolutely. You're much more
Yeah.
lighter on your feet than like most heavyweights. Probably there's a great comparison between you and like Cyril Gane, like the lightness on the
Mm.
feet basically. Not all heavyweights could can actually do that. The actual, will I say, mindset of a heavyweight, or most people, the mindset they have of heavyweights is okay, seek and destroy. That seek and destroy mechanism, basically. But like with you and like Sirigan is much more technical, and it comes from like understanding fighting from a different perspective,
Mm.
basically, and not just taking someone's head off, basically. Okay, so the PFL Africa heavyweight title and the shot at the PFL global stage are still the goal. Okay, what does the next 6 months need to look like for you to get there?
Need all my injuries healed. Need to be
Okay,
healthy, back to training, 6 days a week, 2 times a day. That's what I need, and I just need to be patient and wait for the right opportunity, and just keep working at my skills, which I'm been doing anyways.
uh,
So the next step is for the PFL to come say, "Hey, Justin, we want you to fight here, there, or everywhere." And
okay.
yeah, as soon as they say so, I will definitely jump.
Correct. Okay, for the fans who only know you from the Kane's knockouts, what's the one thing you want them to know about Justin Clarke as a fighter, as a person, and that you want them to understand going forwards about you? Like people who don't know you, besides seeing you in the octagon and like knocking Kane out, who was like the favorite, what would you want them to know about you personally?
Um, I'm very, I'm actually a very quiet person, very humble, very modest.
Okay,
Uh, Leaning more towards the introverted side.
correct.
Yeah, so I like playing computer games. With that's my interaction on a weekend.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay, sir. Sir, it was a pleasure speaking to you. Okay, if you don't mind, you could like shout out to your like Instagram handle, TikTok handle, maybe Facebook, YouTube, and we'll add it to the edits.
okay. Just I need. I'm also old school. I only have Facebook and
Okay, okay,
Instagram.
it's not a problem. It's not a problem.
Yeah. So the Instagram is what's it? Justin Clark 88. It's very simple. The year I
Okay,
was born.
okay, okay. And what's your advice to like upcoming fighters at this point in time who have seen you like reach this I'll say almost the pinnacle of the sports. PFL is also considered one of the like top organizations out there, and also working a full-time job. What's your advice to individuals who are trying to like actually decide one way that to make money or actually chase their dream? Okay, how do they
Um,
combine it like Justin Clark? What would be your advice to them?
Patience.
Patience.
You have to be patient. You have to be diligent, and you got to keep going at it. Like, I mean, this opportunity arrived last year. That was 20. Yeah, that's 10 years after I did my first competition.
Okay.
So, it didn't happen in a blink of an eye. It wasn't an overnight sensation. It
Okay.
was years and years of graft, injuries, concussions.
Oof.
Uh, Whoopsie.
Not a problem, sir.
Yeah, so I could just everyone just be patient, and if they really want it bad, just it eats at you. You just got to keep doing it and be critical of yourself.
Okay.
If you want to get better, you can't always. Yeah, I suppose it's a weird way to say not saying don't be happy with yourself, but you always have to be wanting to do better.
Better. Just trying to do
Yes,
better. That's
yes.
sure. Like they say, perfection is a process. It's not like a destination. It's a constant process of everyday work.
That Sorry, I'm actually a perfectionist when it comes to art. That is something you can say is directly, well, that's something I do in life.
Okay.
But
So
you
it's the
mainly see it in
same.
my art. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the same. You still translate to your arts to like fighting.
Mm.
So,
Yes,
okay,
yes.
sure. So, viewers around the globe, you've had Justin, patience, diligence with your work. Okay, no shortcuts, and you'll get to the similar position he's in. Okay, so Mr. Justin, it's a pleasure speaking to you. Okay, we'll look forward to you grabbing that heavyweight title. Okay, we'll let you get back to training. You heal up, get back to training. You have a belt to grab. Okay, and it's Raymond
Yeah.
signing out. Have a great day, sir.
Thank you very much for
Sure,
having me.
not a
I
problem,
appreciate
sir.
it.